And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford.
Yay! A subscriber!
Tricio, just as soon as we start, a awesome new subscriber. Welcome to Lakers Fast Break. It's Gerald Glassford. Coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Before I pop a new show tomorrow morning, go ahead and check out the State of Pro Wrestling before the Elimination Chamber, where we talk about the Elimination Chamber, talk about the state of the WWE heading into WrestleMania, talk about AEW in Australia, and what is going on with Japanese wrestling. We talk about that and so much more on the State of Pro Wrestling right there for you on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, as well, of course, John Costa, who is not going to be here tonight. He is Clutch Talk of Lakers Corner. Please like and subscribe. He's got some really cool videos that he's put up there himself. So go ahead and check it out today on his YouTube channels right there for you. Also, Empire Jeff TV covering the Lakers and Dodgers. And of course, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights, who was at the game earlier this week. Yo! Also, as well, of course, the Lakerholics crew. Hopefully, they'll be back this weekend. They said that they would be coming back this weekend. Will they? I don't know for sure yet, but I'm hoping I will by this time tomorrow for the Lakerholics at Lakerholics.com. But please, like all these great places, including Legend 350, Alfred Esmond, Stone Hansen, my good friend, Mr. Stone Hansen, who kind of disagreed with him on Moses Brown. Kind of looked good today. 20 points, 11 rebounds right there for Dallas Mavericks. So all I will say is this. He is hitting it right in the button on the guys for the NBA draft. So go ahead and check him out today on Blue Sky and Twitter as well. But speaking of supporting all these great people, support us. We need your help. Be like Tricio, who just became a subscriber, and be a subscriber as well. Plus, like that video as soon as you come in. It gets those algorithms going. It gets all the people out there that are looking for Lakers stuff and Lakers content to come right here. We're welcoming them in with open arms. So please go ahead and do so by liking and subscribing. Plus, if you want to go ahead and get videos in advance, do you also want to get articles? Do you want to get badges, emojis, all that good stuff, even more? Go ahead and check out what we're doing for members today for just $2.99 a month. It's a good deal. It's a good value. And that's what we bring here always. Right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. And I was reminded by my good friend, Mr. Magic Man Sean Grice, coming up here in a little bit over a week on the 9th, he wants to do a March Madness special. Although you can't say March Madness because, in the NCAA, they'll throw the copyright out at you. We'll do something like that. Plus, also as well, look out for our ESPN Tourney Challenge bracket. That'll be coming soon as well. You'll get to see my NCAA tournament picks blow up in flames on the first weekend. And I always put out that David Caruso emoji as my picks go up in the first weekend. So go ahead and get ready. Get your picks down coming up because the Tourney Challenge in early March will come here, right at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Well, the Lakers, after the emotional game, they were kind of due for a letdown emotionally after what went on in Dallas, and didn't seem like it with the Timberwolves coming in. Timberwolves came in looking for all the way that they could do, the energy that they were providing, the strength that they thought they had after their big victory over Oklahoma City. So the Lakers were primed for a possible upset. But you know what? A great start to the game. The defense was locked down. The Lakers looked energized. They looked angry. They looked really good defensively in a 33-17 first quarter. But after that quarter, kind of drifted a little off. It drifted a little left as the Lakers kind of struggled with their shot. Luka Doncic, not really good today as far as the shooting is concerned, but he provided help in other areas. 21 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. But yes, he was 1 of 9 from 3, 6 of 20 overall. And I know we're going to hear it from those fans indeed, but Austin Reaves chipped in 11 of 12 from the free throw line, 23 points on a day where the Lakers weren't that great at the free throw line. Jackson Hayes had 10 and 7, but LeBron James, 33 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 of 9 from 3. getting it done, even though the second half, Lakers kind of lost that energy after the expulsion of Anthony Edwards, who was complaining about a call and had already had a tee, and he was thrown out. Now he's going to be suspended for tomorrow night's game against Utah. That kind of gave Minnesota energy to come back, and they got the lead, I think, down to as close as 3, if I'm not mistaken. But you know what? The Lakers, Luka hit a clutch 3 falling out of bounds. LeBron getting it done, taking it to the hole, and Austin Reaves getting to the line, hitting some clutch free throws, and the Lakers did pull out a victory. Kind of was like, bleh. Wasn't the prettiest victory in the world, but you know what? The defense did just enough for us with a 111-102 victory, holding another team to a below average point total. And here today to go ahead and discuss today's game. It's a good man indeed. He is the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to stop on by and be a great part of our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break live coverage. A big shout out to everybody that was part of it. It is, of course, the Magic Man, Sean Grice. And Sean, great to have you here. I know a lot of our naysayers are going to complain about Luka and whatnot, but I'm going to throw this out at you. Yes, the shooting wasn't there. I get that. I understand it. But the players at that level, the elite players, they find other ways to win. And with LeBron at 33 points is the good number that everybody is going to point to at. 4 out of 9 from 3 is another number that they can point at. But the number I point at is 30 rebounds between LeBron and Luka. That's what got it done, my friend. That and the defense in that first half really helped the Lakers to overcome any chargeback and any comeback that the T-Wolves could offer. And again, the defense has been a key for this team with this record, with this wave of wins that we've seen, with this wave of good play since January 14th. This defense has been a key, and it keyed for most of the game what the Lakers did to get the victory today, Magic Man.
100% Gerald. There was a bit of a tail off there, probably about 3 minutes into the second quarter, and it carried over a little into the third quarter. But I mean, Gerald, the Lakers basically played point for point with the Timberwolves in the second half, even with them trying to valiantly come back. Good job defensively in that first quarter. Really tried to play a hard game against Anthony Edwards. Just get up in his face and make things difficult for him. That's really all you can do. Prevent some angles and lanes from him to go in. He's really smart now though, so he can kind of see his way through that. But for the most part, it was great. I loved the defense in the first quarter. When Edwards was kicked out of the game with that second technical, I mean, you have to give Chris Finch and the staff some credit, Gerald. They were able to attack the defense for a few spurts here and there. But again, I mean, and we said it during playback, credit JJ Redick's assistant, Scott Brooks and Nate McMillan, because they're obviously seeing something defensively that the rest of us aren't, and being very observant. They changed up. They didn't become so reliant on weak side D. They fronted. There were good adjustments defensively in that third quarter, and the fourth quarter, like you said, Gerald, big players step up in big moments, and Luka hit that wild 3-point one-legged shot. Looked like a flamingo in distress when it went up, but it went through the hole, so that's all that matters. I will say this. I have seen the Minnesota Timberwolves play about a handful of games. Gerald, I know he came in with a lot of fanfare during this season, but I'm not seeing enough from Rob Dillingham to say that he could be a very good NBA player. I just don't see it yet, Gerald.
Okay. I still think there's a little bit of hope for him. Again, he's had some spurts where he has looked good, in my opinion. But again, these are young kids, rookies. Same thing is being said about Dalton right about now, because he's terrible on the defensive end. Let's just get, not beat around the bush. I know there's some in our chat still saying, hey, you only got 5 to 10 minutes. That's all he deserves it most because when he goes out there, he's a sieve on defense. Let's just call it the way it is, Magic Man. Until he gets
100%.
a shot right, until he gets his defense better, he is not going to get extended minutes from the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, Gerald, great observation. And I noticed that even during shoot around, he did not look like he was focused tonight. And I'm not sure if this is a repeated preparation on his part where he just treats shoot around as just ho hum another exercise, but you see other guys locked in, like they're ready to go, and it almost looks like Kinect is distracted, Joe.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well, at this point in time, he's got to man up. It's just that simple. If he's not going to man up, then there's going to be someone else that's going to take his minutes. Goodwin is going to just play more. Other people are going to play more that want it more than he does if he doesn't go ahead and start producing. It's just that simple. But here today to go ahead and discuss what went on in the game. It's a good man indeed. It is, of course, my good friend, the guy behind Oxide T47 at LakersBall.com, also as well his company Simblades, SimbladesWithAY.com, and also his game, Corrupt, COREUPT on Steam. It is Joe Soro. Joe, good to have you here. Nick T on the super chat. Bleep that Luka, one-legged three. He kept the Wolves in game with his bad shooting. LeBron needed help. He's not going to hold up carrying this game. And then you've got Hookah on our chat saying that the Lakers get all the calls, the refs are bad, they get all the calls. Again, when you're driving to the basket, you are going to get more calls. The Lakers have traditionally been a team that gets more calls because they are more aggressive to the basket. But, Hookah maybe not actually understand that process about basketball, but he's biased in his opinion, and it's clear to that. But okay, all right, we'll just leave it as is. But there are quite a few haters in our chat today, Joe. I told you it would be this way during the playback. He did have an off-game shooting. But again, as I said, superstars find their way to win the games. Between him and LeBron getting 30 rebounds, by the way, they also got between them, how many assists? 11 assists. Okay. 30 rebounds. 54 points. They got enough done, and the defense helped out as well to get the victory, Joe.
Yeah, there's the Lakers never trailed in tonight's game. This is, I think, the second out of the last 3 games where that's happened. It was a weird night. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if they.
By the way, Hookah says the game was rigged.
I don't give a shit what Hookah says. I don't give a fuck.
The guy's an idiot. Just
I don't give a shit.
Like
Stop. Just fuck him. The NBA basketball has some good players in it. I'm patronizing people that hear that, by the way. And just because someone like Anthony Edwards gets kicked out because he's an idiot too, doesn't mean that the other guys aren't going to pick up the slack. It happens in an 82-game season. The Lakers haven't really been shooting well. And what you can take from games like this, if your IQ is below 50, which most people are out there, especially a few in here, you win when you don't play well. That's a sign that you've got something going on. You don't always shoot well. Not every team shoots well every game in and game out. And the Lakers have not shot well the last couple of games, but guess what? They won. And the reason why that's important is that's where the grit comes from. That's how you build that hardness in your mental game. Luka misses every shot until the one that really matters goes in. Gee, where have we seen that in our Laker viewing life? Sean, tell me who.
Kobe Bean Bryant.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Y'all act like you just started watching basketball 45 minutes ago. That's why you don't deserve any attention, because you have no attention, and that's why you're saying what you're saying. And you're going to continue to not have attention, at least for me. The Lakers are not shooting well, but they're winning. I don't give two shits how they win as long as they win. And if you don't think Luka's going to bust out of this slump, then you're a fucking moron. And you haven't watched basketball for more than 5 minutes. That, really, like, just let that sink in a little bit. Tomorrow's going to be a tough game, but the Lakers have played pretty well on the back ends of back-to-backs this year. For some weird reason, they've actually played pretty well, and they don't have to travel. That's nice. Whether they win tomorrow night or not, I'm just hoping for a competitive game. I'm probably more worried about Rui. I don't like non-contact injuries, especially when it goes to the lower extremities. That usually means a bad thing. Strained knees when there's no contact really, really worry me. I'm just hoping that it is an actual strain so that we can get an idea if he's going to be out a week or two. I don't know. I think the Lakers have enough from like a DFS to cover him for a little bit, but we're going to definitely need Rui here for the rest of the year. So make sure he gets back healthy and ready. And that's kind of how I'm looking at that. Props to Jackson Hayes. While you're all sitting there criticizing everything in your life because you're a fucking hopeless bum, how about giving some credit to some of the guys that actually played really well tonight, specifically Jackson Hayes. And LeBron played pretty damn well up until the fourth quarter. Well, he didn't play bad in the fourth quarter. He just didn't really get a lot of, I guess, plays for whatever reason. But Jackson Hayes might have saved the Lakers tonight with some of those key offensive volleyball spikes. I call them volleyball spikes. And I just feel very happy for him. I'm very excited to see his progression and his improvement since this new Laker team has formed. Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is one of those guys, even when he's not playing well, according to your eyes, he sets a certain tone to the game. If you don't know what that is, you should watch the game again tonight, maybe a few more times, and see how he kind of monitors the offense. The way he got the passes to certain guys. How many of those passes, Sean, did Luka hit from one side to the other? You know,
there were 5 of them, and he hit 4 of them. Vando missed the bullet pass on the baseline, but that was the only one.
And that, I'd say, if there was one thing that aggravated me tonight, is I don't like players who drop the ball the way he does. That did remind me of Samaki Walker. It's more of a Samaki Walker drop than a Kwame Brown drop. And the difference between the two is Kwame Brown couldn't handle the ball when he got the ball. Samaki Walker couldn't handle the ball when he was right under the rim. It would make me want to commit arson on him.
Hold on a second, Joe. Nick T. Lloyd Avenue is putting words in your mouth and my mouth again. You want to take a look? And he says, Nick T, I think we both have the same TV because Luka was bad, and they're saying he's good.
What was the question?
They're putting words in your mouth as far as saying what you're saying. They're saying that, again, we said he shot terrible tonight. There's no putting around that. But he found ways to win the game.
So what is the point of talking about him shooting bad? What is the point of that discussion when they win? Would you be on here saying, okay, let's say he shoots 15 of 25 and they lose. Then what? You're going to talk about how he missed 10 shots? It's about winning, and the Lakers didn't trail in this game. Focus on that. That's all that matters.
Never said he had a good game, guys. I said he found other ways to help this team win. Him and LeBron, 30 rebounds tonight between them, Magic Man. I don't think these guys get it. These haters just want to hate. I mean, their hate is just like this film where they do not actually watch the game. They're looking at just every misses, and that's all they're not worrying about anything else as far as any other aspect of the game than just, is he making a shot or isn't he? Or if the Lakers are winning or aren't they? That's all the word is about, how many shots he's making, Magic Man. So again, he had a terrible shooting game.
Facts. Okay, hold on. Let me finish off, Nick T. You just said facts are not hate. Where's AD playing right now? Let's talk facts. Let's talk facts, Nick T. Where is Anthony Davis playing right now? I'll tell you where he's not playing in an NBA game, at least for another month. So what the fuck are you talking about if AD was playing in this game? If prime Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in this game, we would have won tonight. We would have won tonight in a blowout too. AD is not playing. So what the fuck are you talking about facts when he's injured for the next month? Where's your facts there? You just contradicted yourself. Anyone? I would make that trade. I would make that trade 435 times out of 100. I don't give a shit what you guys say, how you say it, putting words in our mouth or not. And by the way, your facts suck ass because they're not facts. They're fantasy. When you say if, that's a fantasy. That's not facts. If I was 7 feet 5 inches, I'd be in the NBA right now. That's not facts. That's a fantasy. That's
right.
Doesn't exist.
We'll just put this into perspective. Yeah, not a good shooting night for Luka.
And Lloyd, I'm going to say this: Lloyd has absolutely zero credit because he was not here when Luka did well. He did a no-show. Nick T, I'll give him some slack, but Lloyd Avenue, you have zero credit with us because you didn't show up to go ahead and take your medicine.
You're coward,
we're here over 300 nights a year, and you're not. So there you go.
And Gerald, just to kind of put things into perspective, yes, look at that. You're 1.5 games out of the 2 seed.
Yep, they gained a game on Denver tonight, so they're 4th place. They're back in 4th place in the Western Conference. Magic.
You're 5-2 since you acquired Luka or Hookah or whatever you want to call him. Hell,
I'm gonna reiterate what I said on playback. Kobe Bryant shot 6 of 24 in Game 7 of the 2010 NBA Finals. How did that go in the end? Suck on that. It finished with a world championship and a Finals MVP. That's facts. That's facts. You want to talk about facts? That's facts. Don't come in here talking about facts and then say if.
By the way, Joe, he finished with 15 boards in that game. He attacked the glass.
He found other ways to win, Magic Man.
This is all that matters.
Other ways to win.
Yeah. So, anyways, no more attention to numbskulls. The Lakers right now.
Gerald gave the floor to me, sir.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You had something to say.
I was going to put a button on this. Lakers have been winning in ugly games. That's just like when you beat a lousy team by 20 or 25. That's what you're supposed to do when you're a good team. So when you don't play well and you still win, that is a sign of a very good team. Know how sports works. Roll with what's going and worry about the details later as long as they win.
Gerald, Michael Jordan once scored 63 points in the Boston Garden in a loss. So are we do you want to compare apples and apples, Lloyd and Nick T? Then let's do it because he scored 63 points in a loss. People still want to keep going with this crap. Okay. Yeah, it's true. Luka Doncic shot less than 25% from 3 in the finals against Boston. That is true. A couple years ago, He got off to a really slow start. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to look it up again. I think he was 0 for 30, 0 for 32 from 3 to start the year with the Mavs a couple of years ago. Usually what happens with this guy is if he's hurt and he's come back from an injury, Charlie, usually it's about 2 weeks for him to get a shot right again. He usually, and by the way, it's true. It's true. He is a career 35% 3-point shooter. But guess what, everyone? Career-wise, James Harden is 36%. So what are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, what do we do? Are you saying James Harden is necessarily just an absolute dead-eye shooter from 3 and Luka isn't? Luka shoots almost 40% from the step-back 3, Gerald. That's what ticks up that average. That step back 3 is unguardable, especially when he's on. So this fantasy that people have that somehow he's lost his shot, that it's gone away, never to come back again. I mean, this isn't Rosetta Stone. This is basketball. He'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
Let me ask you this, Match Man. Didn't we get the win today?
We get
Correct
to
me if I'm
win.
wrong.
I can't believe it, but yeah, we got to win.
Yeah, you couldn't tell by our chat today because our chat has a bunch of unpleasant individuals, and I'll just say that. But once again, they're not going to displease us because we love throwing it back at you. Because the Lakers won, which is what matters. 111 to 102. Joe, he did look a little bit fatigued as well. Did grab the hammy. But man, 33 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists tonight. Overall, 4 of 9 from 3. Again, getting it done. Your thoughts on LeBron? I know Robert was asking a question on if either one of him or Luka will be sitting out tomorrow. We'll see. It's a back-to-back. I know they've been doing that for Luka. We'll see if LeBron grabbing the hammy is not exactly going to be the greatest thing in the world either, and Rui straining his knee. Which JJ said it's inconclusive on exactly what's going on there. So I know there's going to be some sitting out tomorrow night's game, but we'll see. But again, let's go back to LeBron's great performance tonight. You could see tonight that a lot was weighing on him. He did look in that second half like he couldn't bring the same kind of energy, but you talked about it, my friend. At 40, what he is doing on both sides of the ball really has to be mentioned, my friend.
Yeah, he's adding a chapter that no one has ever added to the NBA story, and I don't know how it's gonna end. I think it's nice to know that we're gonna see something possibly here that we'll probably never see again. I don't know, at least not for a while. There might be 30-year careers, maybe in 20, 30 years. When medicine allows a player to do it. But in the meantime, depending on how this develops in terms of the team, how it's built here between now and the summer and how it plays out next year, he's going to come back after this year. That's what his contract says. Whether he plays beyond that, I don't know. But we do know for another year and a half he will be playing, and if he continues to play like this, there might be and wins a championship this year, next year, whatever, it would definitely add something that we can't deny. And I'm looking forward to finding out.
And what I love about this, Gerald, is that I thank you for putting that up. So let's review that, ladies and gentlemen. Shooting dog shit from 3, and you're winning 4 of 5. You're winning 5 of 7. You're winning 6 of 8. I want just everybody to put this into perspective. 2 years ago, if we shot like that, we would be, Gerald, probably 0 and 5. Now even 1 and 4, given the kind of shooters we have. Now, to put it all wrapped up in a bow, what's amazing, Gerald, is that they're still figuring things out and winning. You're winning while you're figuring things out. And that eases the transition from chemistry to cohesion when you're winning. Because you do whatever it takes to win. And that's what they're doing. If their shot isn't falling, they're hitting like Joe said. Look at Jackson Hayes tonight, Joe. When's the last time Jackson Hayes had a 10.7 rebound game for the Lakers? Did he even have one last year? I'm sure he did, but they're just not memorable, right? So when he does score in double digits in 23 minutes, he grabs 10 points and 7 boards. And by the way, Joe, the most gratifying part of watching Hayes is that he's playing this consistently without fouling. He would pick up a quick ticky-tack foul, usually within the first minute or 2 minutes he was in the game. He's very conscious now when he sit in the paint. He doesn't have to roughneck everybody that goes up there because he has DFS, he has Austin Reaves, he has Rui out there on the perimeter. You've got Gabe. He's got a lot of backup there. And the team communication defensively is really very good because even with Minnesota adjusting their offense, because usually with Ant, it's one 4 out. It's 4 out and Anthony's running. So even with Mike Conley, a vet out there, and Naz Reid, a vet, the Lakers defense was still able to stymie them enough where they couldn't secure a lead in this game. Like Joe said, the Lakers kept them at arm's length the whole game. And we still have people complaining, oh, this and that. Oh, this and that. You know, Gerald, I brought this up before, and I'll bring it up again because it's a point worth making because the guy who made it knows what he's talking about. So Tim Tebow is considered one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time. If you're out there and you don't like what I just said, well, buttons to you because I don't like it either, but he is.
He's got 2 Heismans.
He once said that he
2
had
titles, 1 Heisman.
Should have 3.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Should have 3. No, he should have 3, actually. Anyway, he sprained his ankle very badly, Gerald, and he ended up playing Jackson State. Now, Florida won, but it wasn't pretty. And he told the fans that, like, what do you guys think this is? This is a video game? You trade for Luka. He's a 97, 98. You think you're getting that 97, 98 player. You're not. He had a calf injury. He's injured. It takes a little while to come back. Your shot's a little off. Your movements are a little off. Your hesitancy is up a little bit. But you're still winning. You're still winning. And that's all that matters. And that's what Tebow tried to say too. It doesn't, like, I could be 85%, but if we still win, who cares? Like, the fans don't care. But you guys care. Like, not every game is going to be gun drops and rainbows. And we've seen it before with Kobe being Bryant, Gerald. All it will take 6 for 20 if you hit that one-legged flamingo 3 and the Lakers won by 9. And so would all you out there.
Joe, let me bring it back to you. And once again, the Lakers, they do get the victory 111-102. They're now 36-21, 4th place in the Western Conference. Once again, they're just a game and a half out of 2nd place in the Western Conference. Joe, I know the statistic being thrown around is Jared Vanderbilt with the team. I think it's 11-2 now since his return to the lineup. I know at times he's given the Lakers good defense. It's still been an adventure on the offensive end, and I don't want to say he has the hands of stone, but I did compare it to Kwame Brown hands at times because he does seemingly drop the easiest passes in the world. But 11-2, you can't ignore that, even though he was a minus 17 tonight, Adam. So before we go ahead and reach praise for him, how coincidental is the 11-2 record with him in the lineup? I know at times he hasn't been impactful, like in the Denver game, but still, there are times where his defense and hustle and effort has helped the Lakers and this defense reach another level, as we've seen so far in the past few weeks, Joe.
I don't like his game. I don't trust him. He can't hit free throws, and he's going to get sagged off. That's why he gets those open areas for him to get the ball. And if he doesn't get it literally under the rim, with really no one there, maybe a few people like a few feet away from someone, I'm still worried. I don't trust Jared Vanderbilt with the ball. I just don't. And that's just something we're going to have to deal with. Whether the record means something, I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's another player that may do some things that others can't do on maybe the defensive end. Maybe he's good at switching a little bit better than the next guy. That's fine. But to me, there's moments in games where you need someone to catch the ball when it matters, and he's not one of those guys. And you end up playing 4.5 on 5 at that point. I don't like that, especially if we're playing a really good team that's on. The shooting has been terrible the last 5 games. There's going to likely be a time here where they're going to start hitting shots. It always happens. If he can hit that corner 3 a couple times a game, I'd say, okay, that's good. But the Lakers really need to stop using him as the dive. I don't want him being the dive. If you want to give him the ball to get a couple shots at 3 from the 3-point line, that's fine. Because then if he hits them, then the other team has to kind of think about it, and that'll open up the floor a little bit more. But if that's not it, then I don't trust him with the ball.
He's shooting only 25% from 3. And
I know what he's shooting. That's why
it's hard because you can't find a good.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to explain this over and over again, because maybe he has a good game, and all of a sudden now you're knighting this guy. This is a consistent game. This is a consistency game. It's not about one game here, one game there. There needs to be the fundamentals need to be there. They need to be there. You need to catch the damn ball when you get the ball 1 foot from the rim. If you miss the shot from 3, that's fine. I get that. But you can't miss that. You can't miss. Missing free throws, I guess that's also something that we can't, I watched Shaq miss free throws for 8 years. I have to, I guess, accept that part. But you cannot miss wide open passes to you in your hands under the basket. You got to make that shot. Those are the things that aggravate me. Nobody's consistent. Okay, you're a fucking idiot, Harry. You don't understand what the fuck I'm saying, so I'm not even gonna reply to that. I guess I just did, but it's just fucking stupid ass comment. The Lakers.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Just forget it.
We're 5-2 since we got Luka. What do you mean? Nobody's
give what credit? Give credit to what? Give who credit? 25% from the field, who drops every other ball? What credit are you looking for? What's with you fucking people and credit? I don't give anybody credit for anything.
I don't understand this either, Joe. Jared Vanderbilt played 6 minutes against Denver, and everybody wanted to give him the game ball.
What was it? Max Christie dropped 17 points in his first game in Dallas. All of a sudden, now we're supposed to. He's an all-star. It's just this is why people hate people, man. People have fucking warped interpretations of shit. And I literally just said what was going on with this guy's game, and somebody doesn't understand what I just said. I know you're joking, Johnny. I'm not stupid. I created that game. The key here is, folks, is the Lakers need to still get themselves together in this process. And the shooting is coming. It's going to come at some point with Luka. It's just it's part of his game. It's gonna happen. A lot of his shots were coming up short. Usually that might be a little bit of tired legs. His legs aren't really NBA ready at this point. It's still not there, guys. He's only, what is this, his 7th game, guys, that he's played? 7 games after being out for 2 months. It's not enough. He's probably going to need another 3 or 4 weeks, honestly, to probably get back his true stamina and his physicalness. The key here is to enjoy the things that they're doing that's still creating wins. Their defense is still there. They're still, and that might play a part in this too. They're putting so much effort on defense. LeBron has put so much effort on defense that he might have gotten tired tonight towards the end too. That's a fact. That's a factor in that too. Luka was. I was just saying he came up short on a lot of shots. He's been playing really hard on defense because he doesn't want to be a liability there. So it's time you understand what the game is kind of developed in each and every game. It's different. And as long as it comes out with a win, and I think it would have been 5-0, Sean, had AR not gotten kicked out of that Charlotte game. They'd be 5-0 right now if they hadn't gotten Austin out of there. So tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know who's going to be available. It's going to be a tough one, but I hope it's just competitive, even if they do lose.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but Jared Vanderbilt is a 6-point career scorer, averaging 3.3 on the season. So we're wasting our time, wasting our breath, and concentrating so much, or at least our audience is, so much on a guy that averages 3.3 points a game. Just like we were focusing so much on Gabe earlier this season. It's just, where are you putting your focus, guys? We're winning games. You guys for so long wanted us to stop being so negative on the Los Angeles Lakers. You know what it reminds me of, Sean and Joe? You know what it really reminds me of? That this whole swing between us and our audiences? It equates like near the Attitude Era when Steve Austin was rising up the level, the 316, people were starting to really get behind him, but he was still a bad guy. He was still a heel. But in that WrestleMania match against Bret Hart, it was a double turn. The way they did that match, it was a double turn. So simultaneously, the good guy and Bret became the bad guy, and Steve Austin, the bad guy, became the good guy. It seems like ever since the Luka trade happened, it has been just like that. That was our WrestleMania match, guys. The audience, in some ways, has become the bad guy with some real losers in our chat that want to go ahead and point out every mistake that they're making and being negative at every turn. We are trying to promote the positivity about the Lakers continue to win, building a defense, and having a player that, despite having bad games shooting-wise, is still finding ways to win. We're trying to be positive for the first time in a long time to our audience. Nothing pleases you guys at all. Absolutely nothing in certain cases.
I wouldn't. I
don't want to say this. Let me just. It's not our entire audience. Most of the audiences are smart. Most of our audience is absolutely smart and on the money, Sean. But there's still, again, some of these idiots that are out there that are just not seeing the forest from the trees. Just need to get their act together, and we'll just leave it at that. But
yeah,
go ahead,
seriously, need to get your act together. And if you speak like this, if you do have children, I hope to God you don't talk to your children like this. Remember Joe from The Sopranos? When that kid was complaining about his father, he brought home a report card. He got a 95. Where's the other 5%? That's what our audience. That's what our audience is like. Where's the other 5%? Guys, this is basketball. These are human beings. Sometimes they're tired. Sometimes they're distracted. They're not up to snuff 100% of the time. But we're still finding ways to win. Win. We're here winning. That's all I care about.
And the criticism is warranted because these are plays that should not happen. You're an NBA player. An NBA player should not be fumbling every other time a clean pass in his hands. You got to work on that. That's got to not happen. I'm sorry. That cannot happen. Missing shots. You notice that we aren't killing everybody about missing shots. Shit happens in the NBA in terms of shots. So that sometimes they miss. But you cannot miss every other time an open pass right in your hands, especially if it's under the basket. Can't do that. You got to fix that problem. Otherwise, it will be a problem down the road. As far as Luka not being able to shoot well, that's the same difference. But what he does is he does things that don't show up on the stat sheet. And looking at Jackson Hayes' stat sheet, I never really know how they calculate the rebounds in the NBA. Sometimes they count the little spike in favor of the guy with the spike, or sometimes they don't. Looks like they didn't do that a lot, because I would have thought Jackson Hayes had more than 7 rebounds tonight, but he had some huge plays in spiking some of those missed shots and getting it back to the Laker players that made a huge difference in a lot of these specific plays that could have maybe turned the game around. That's just what it is. If the Lakers had lost tonight, maybe there'd be a different story, but that's the whole point. Is this is a wins and losses profession. It doesn't matter really in the end, other than those 2 results.
Oh, I see. So what Vando has for some of the audience is, Joe, called intangibles.
Yes.
He's got
Those
the
intangibles.
intangibles. Well, you know what intangibles pay in the real world, Joe?
It's like
But his
potential.
effort.
It's like hearing the word potential. This guy has potential. This guy has potential. Okay, fine. He's got potential, but when is that potential going to come to use?
I mean, okay, his shot has come around the past couple games from 3, Joe. I'll give him that. But again, historically, he's an under 30% shooter for his lifetime. He is playing about 13 to 15 minutes a game. And I could say, Joe, that his effort on the defensive end, he is making an impact there. Offensively, it is a little bit of an adventure, but you know what? Anything that you get up from him on that side of the ball, I'm going to consider a positive. But you just can't rely on him at certain moments, because you can't. If he's underneath, unless it's directly in his hands, right there in the pattern, right in front of his face, he is not going to catch the ball. And again, if he starts missing shots, he's going to have zero confidence in a shot from the outside, because he's just not overall been a good offensive player at all his many years in this league already. And he's been in this league a few years. You check the stats, he has been. But whatever he gives you offensively, I think is a bonus, because again, he is making an impact in his 13 to 15 minutes a game defensively with his effort. And if you want to throw out the intangible stuff like that, that's fine. The 11-2 record, that's fine. That's great that he has come on and impacted winning. Tonight, he didn't impact winning a whole lot because it was minus 17. I don't know. If you don't want to count that plus minus thing, I'll leave that up to you. But he was a minus 17, worst on the team tonight there.
Well, let's do this. Let's really hammer this home with some facts. You ready for facts? How many minutes, Gerald? Sean, how many minutes did Jared Vanderbilt play tonight?
13 minutes.
13 minutes. So why don't you go tell JJ Redick how well Vanderbilt played tonight to play 13 minutes, especially with Rui being hurt and out in the second half, basically. Go tell me your facts there. Go talk to JJ with your facts. Go ahead. Go talk to him, and then come back and tell me what he said. You act like we're watching some other game, guys. Your ifs, your shoulds, and your woulds belong in the toilet. That's where they belong.
Let me just give you the rundown, Joe. In the past 5 games, let me get 13 minutes, 14 minutes, 6 minutes, 13 minutes, 17 minutes, Joe. He's not played above 20 minutes in any one of those past 5 games.
I don't need to go into detail. I ended the discussion right now. You can sit there and you can retort with whatever imagination you have out there. Go talk to JJ Redick and ask him why he only played Vanderbilt 13 minutes tonight. And not only that, he had negative 17 plus minus playing 13 minutes. So you tell me how great he played tonight.
And he wasn't even guarding Anthony Edwards. He wasn't asked to guard Anthony Edwards, who, by the way, is the best offensive player on the Minnesota Timberwolves by a country mile. And there you go. 98 straight games with a 3 made. longest active streak in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. Belongs to
It's
one
not
Luka
pretty, but
Doncic.
Magic, it's not pretty. Overall, he's a 34.7% shooter. He is volume 3-point shooter, and he does not make as many as he should. Going to be the first to admit. But still, again, you guys overlook the fact that he found other ways to help this team win. This team is winning. This team, like Robert Wheeler, who kept spamming the same question. What's a good question? Do we think the Lakers are just going to win 50 games, or are they? There's a possibility they're going to be the 2 seed. We're talking about the possibility of the Lakers being a 2 seed. We weren't talking like this with AD on this team. So before you guys go ahead and just rip Luka apart, understand, yes, he is shooting bad. I get that. I understand it. But he is on this team because he finds other ways to help you win the games when he's not shooting well. And if he does start to shoot well and he starts to go off like he did in the playoffs, watch out. Watch out, because the Lakers will have a chance against anyone.
I'm not sure I understand what's going on with this discussion. What does AD have to keep? Why does AD keep coming into this conversation? You guys want to give Luka back to Dallas?
Many of them would.
Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
I want you all to write right now the numbnuts that are talking right now about Luka sucking. You want to trade him back to Dallas? Okay, what are we getting back? Tell me. I'm going to wait a little bit. Who are we getting back for Luka? Right now at 2/27/2025 at 11:03 p.m. Go ahead. Go take Luka back to Dallas. Who are we getting back?
Okay.
AD and Max. Okay. So Max is healthy, right? He's playing. Where's AD? When's he playing next?
Might as well ask the great Kinhank because no one knows.
AD's going to be playing the same amount of games as Sean, me, and Gerald are in the next month. What do you think the record's going to be then? You're going to start talking about how Vando has an 11-2 record? You're going to talk about that kind of shit? Playing 13 minutes a game? No. I'm being realistic here to a degree. You're not getting 6 first-round picks. I set this question up for a reason. I wanted to hear you say AD and get your first-round draft pick back and Max. You're telling me AD sitting on the pine for the next month is going to get this team to a 4 seed? We'll be back in street clothes. Exactly. So now what? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do in a year? What are you going to do in 2 years? You know how old Luka's going to be in 5 years? 30. He's going to be 30 years old. You know how old AD's going to be? 36. So what are we talking about? Seriously, with your facts. You know, I have a fax machine that's still in the...
I knew you were going to bring it up.
There's a fax machine. I keep it there for nostalgia. That's where your fax is. It's up in the attic collecting dust.
I use it as a printer. It's part fax. I'll just say it's a multifunction machine, but we'll just leave it at that.
I honestly don't know why we're having this discussion. This is a discussion about tonight's game, and these clowns are talking about a trade that changed the franchise to win it. The Lakers are going to be able to win championships now have a chance at winning championships for the next 5 to 10 years. They weren't winning shit with AD and Max on this team.
Sean, let me bring it back to you. That's what I was going to bring back to you. Go ahead, but I had a question for you from Natalia.
Sure. I'll be real quick, Gerald. So in 2020, 2021, Solomon Hill ruined our basketball experience for about the last 7 weeks of the season, Gerald. In the time that LeBron James missed, and he was neck and neck, let's just say, with Giannis for MVP voting, The Lakers went 9-17 with LeBron on the shelf, and that was with AD leading your team. Now, the only reason the Lakers made a valiant scratch and claw at the first round was because they won 5 games to end the regular season, Gerald, by the hair on their chinny chin with LeBron. I'm not in a position where if I worry if LeBron goes down, that the Lakers would be in a similar position this year, because it's a different thoroughbred in the stalls, and he's Luka Doncic. And the Lakers have gone 5-2 since we acquired him. That is a 78% winning percentage, ladies and gentlemen. That is better than any winning percentage this year that AD has played and LeBron has not.
So let me bring it back to you, Magic Man. And once again, the Lakers do win tonight, 111-102. Lakers are 36-21. They are in 4th place in the Western Conference. Again, we are in range of 2nd place in the Western Conference. Just wanted to remind people that, all the doubters and haters out there, and something that we probably weren't close enough to with AD and Max. But again, it is what it is. Magic Man, Natalia had a point she wanted to make about LeBron. Joe, I'm going to talk to you about AR here in a second. But Natalia wanted to ask about LeBron clutching his hammy. And of course, Luka was clutching his calf. So we might have the walking wounded, or might have some people sitting out alongside Rui tomorrow. Wait and see, because it is a back-to-back. But how long, Natalia is asking, do you think he can sustain this level of play on both sides of the ball, considering the fact that he is 40 years old and in many ways going into uncharted waters in the NBA, Magic Man?
That's a great question. I'm gonna say to be continued, because I've seen this man face the odds and just pound them into submission. I don't doubt him whatsoever. Look, man, he's 40 years old. I don't think you can expect the same kind of like defensive vigor like each game. The intensity, sure, I think he can sustain that. He's perfectly capable of it. That's mind over matter. He can deal with that. As far as the legs, I'm not Gerald, he's 40 years old. Like, that affects everybody. He seems to have the edge, though, when it comes to body recovery after logging, heavy minutes. So in that respect, because he's taking care of his body so well and nobody understands it better than him, maybe only Mike Mancias, his right-hand man, knows LeBron's body better than him. That being said, I don't doubt it. I think that the defensive intensity can continue. I don't think he'll have the same vigor and vim playing night to night defensively, but I think he could at least sustain like an 80%, the best he could play defensively.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good point. Good point there. Joe, with all the fervor going back and forth, dealing with the clowns as we do, in fact, instead of just ignoring them like most other shows, we go right back at them as they go back with us. I wanted to go ahead and not forget to mention the play of one Austin Reaves. Austin Reaves, you and I thought for even a good part of this season, a very good part of the season, until he was given the reins as the point guard, de facto point guard, when D'Angelo Russell was traded. You and I still thought that his best platform on a championship run, on a championship team, was the main guy coming off the bench, the sixth man coming off the bench. But he has exceeded those expectations for us. And tonight, notwithstanding, because he had another really solid game, because he found ways to win by getting to the line. Although, again, Hookah says, that the refs were biased for the Lakers, blah, blah, blah. As we hear every clown that comes on that hates the fact that the Lakers play this way when they get to the line by being more aggressive and shooting less threes. But it is what it is. But Austin Reaves, 11 of 12 shooting from the line, 5 of 10 overall, 23 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. He is
And we are back. With
Okay,
another
sorry.
edition.
Your thoughts, Joe, on Austin Reaves and his performance tonight, and how good he was getting to the line, and how that helped stave off a fierce comeback from the Wolves.
Well, I'm going to answer the first question you had about LeBron. If LeBron blows a tire before the playoffs or during the playoffs, he still has my respect. And that's as a viewer who appreciates excellence and playing all out. There's nothing but positiveness in that way of performing, even if it doesn't mean in the end the result that we want. You can only ask for someone's best effort, and LeBron James has been playing. He's always gave effort in terms of his performances, barring a few, I guess, load management moments in games to keep himself fresh. But lately, he has put himself in a position where I have just been very, very, very happy in terms of how he's performed. He's really trying to put all the effort in to see if this team can manage a run. And however it turns out in the end, I don't think I'll be bothered by however it turns out, at least with him. As far as Austin Reaves is concerned, it's very hard to not appreciate Austin Reaves for what he's done in his career so far. I think he plays brilliantly with the skill set that he has. He's a good team guy. He's accommodating to the game. He's accommodating to his people. He shows up every game. Remember, guys, this is a guy that played all 82 games last year. And if I'm correct, Sean, he's played all the games this year as well.
No, I think he's missed at least one, Joe.
Okay,
I'll double check.
Okay, so if Austin ends this year playing 81 games after playing an 82 game season, what similar to LeBron, well, how can you fault him for the effort? You can't.
He's played 51 games, Joe, out of the 57.
Okay, so he's going to end up missing because there's 25 games left, which means he will have missed, if he plays the rest of the way, he will have missed 6 games.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so in 2 seasons, he will have played an average of 79 games. That's something to appreciate. This is a non-drafted player who actually plays at a very, very high level, night in and night out. Even if I honestly haven't felt like he's struggled since the beginning of the year. I think he's been playing very, very well.
There was a time he was hurting early in the year, Joe, but after that,
maybe he was injured. Maybe it took him a minute to get back into whatever. I don't know. All I know is the effort is there, the improvement is there, and those are the things that you should appreciate. As far as Luka Doncic, Luka has had an issue with his calf muscle for a while. This isn't just this year. He had an issue managing it even last year towards the end of the year. He finally took 2 months off this year to see if he could get rid of the problem. And I don't know if it'll be 100% healed. We don't know yet, but it's still Luka Doncic. At some point, this thing will be figured out, and he will get back to playing the way he's supposed to play. And yet, even though they are waiting for him to get back, they're still winning. That's a great thing. And you've got players that have improved in that time. DFS didn't have a particularly good game tonight, but he did play 31 minutes, and he did play good defense. And he just couldn't make a shot tonight. He couldn't make a shot at all. It's been a problem for a few games. But
do you see that as something interesting as far as the reliance JJ has on DFS, regardless if he's hitting shots or not, over a guy like everybody's favorite in the chat, Jared Vanderbilt?
I don't really know if I have an answer to that. DFS is a newly arrived player still. I know he's been around for a month, but it's still, and then you have a different engine now with Luka versus having AD. This is There's only been in the years I've been watching basketball, there's only been 2 transactions before the deadline that resulted in a championship. That was 1995 when Clyde Drexler was traded for Otis Thorpe in a package to get him to Houston from Portland, and then Houston went on to win a championship. And then the last one was Rasheed Wallace being traded to Atlanta, and then I think he was there for 72 hours. He got traded to Detroit. Detroit went on to win the championship that year. This is not something that happens. It's much like the whole if you don't get at least a 5 or 4 seed, if you don't get above really the 4 seed, you're not likely going to win a championship. There's never been a 5 seed that's won a championship. It's all been 1 through 4s, and then there's that one anomaly in 1995. Again, that was the Houston Rockets when they were the 6 seed. So looking at all these things, guys, there's a lot of history that's saying this isn't going to result in the results we want. It's happened, but it's not likely. The percentages are low. So you have to put those things in consideration. You have to let this team develop. They haven't had a training camp together. They didn't have a summer to go kind of get to know each other. If they accomplish a run here, it's going to be pretty amazing to do that with guys that don't really know each other that well. I don't know what DFS's value will be in the end here. I don't know truly what it would be other than maybe defense. The ability to guard from 1 to 5 is ultimately why I like DFS in terms of his one major trait. After that, I never looked at him as a consistent 3-point shooter, which is something that would really help the team. He's got a motor where, it could benefit in a lot of ways. But more than anything is there was some comfort knowing that they were going to bring in a guy, especially trading him for one of the worst defenders in the league in D'Angelo Russell, to get a guy that can actually guard a point guard through a center. I think that puts a lot of value on this team.
And it's another player we acquired that isn't going to be played off the floor in the playoffs because he's capable of more than just being a step back 3-point shooter. He can put the ball on the floor and take it to the hole if necessary. He has the requisite skills. That's why guys like DFS and hopefully Ruiz can stay healthy are much more valuable to this team that's led by Luka Doncic and LeBron James than a Jared Vanderbilt or Cam Reddish, who we had to deal with last year. We're putting them in positions that they weren't going to succeed, and people wanted to just have that square peg in that round hole. Now the offense has weapons that can be used that aren't facilitating a 4-on-5 offense, which is what we get a lot of the times with Vando or Gabe Vincent. Oh, by the way, Gerald, we haven't talked about Gabe tonight. His shot has fallen off a cliff in the past week and a half.
Mark may actually go and start hating his face again, I think is what's going to happen on that one. But to give a couple of injury updates to both LeBron and Luka, Luka has already listed himself as questionable for tomorrow night's game. So we'll see what happens there. And LeBron said his hammy is not a concern, and he'll see how he feels when he wakes up tomorrow, determine his status for tomorrow's game against the Clippers. No additional word yet on Rui other than the knee strain that they're looking at. And, of course, JJ said after the game it was hopeful that he will be okay. So we'll see what happens there.
Wait a minute, Harry. We can't criticize Gabe for bad shooting, but you give us shit when we don't criticize Luka? If Gabe will be fine, then Luka
is racist.
Oh, he's not racist. Come on.
Maybe he's racist.
Just stop that.
Just saying.
Just stop that. We just got a great audience. Shut up. Gerald, go on. Excuse me.
Well, I'm going to put it to you like this. Okay. Gabe has been fine. Okay, let's go in the past 5 games because we talked about Vando the past 5 games. And, Gabe is only playing about 20 minutes a game. In 20 minutes this game, he shot 16.7%. The game against Dallas, 60 minutes, 16.7% from the field. Saturday's game, 19 minutes, 25% from the field. Thursday's game, last Thursday against Portland, 28% from the field in only 60 minutes. And then Charlotte game, 20 minutes, 28% for the field. So since the All-Star break, I hate to correct you when you're wrong, guys, but yeah, Harry, he has not been good since the All-Star break. Maybe he is still on All-Star break, but his shot has still not come back from the All-Star break, according to the stats that are out there. So Harry, his defense and effort are still there, but his shot is not. Again, he is a streaky player, Magic. I think I've stressed that before on this show quite a number of times. So when he gets on a heater, it could be a 2-3 week deal where he is really looking good. But again, when he's not, it's going to be another 2-3 week deal where he's not. And we saw him in the playoffs for Miami. He went on a heater and he really helped that team when they needed it the most. But in the finals, he got off that heater and he got ice cold. And obviously we saw what happened from there, Magic Man. But again, he's giving us the help and energy on defense. He's helping facilitate this defense. I want to focus on that, guys. Jordan Goodwin is a name that's coming out there that is trying out there. He is giving energy and effort. Joe, he is helping key this defense off the bench along with Gabe. So I got to give those guys credit for that. Your thoughts on Goodwin? That March 1st deadline for waiving people, for buying out people, that's coming up on the horizon for playoff eligibility. That's coming up on the horizon. I know somebody was asking about Day'Ron Sharpe, but I think the fact that he's going to be a restricted free agent, I think that probably precludes him from being waived. I don't see any big names here in the next 24, 48 hours being given that release as of yet, but the Lakers have one move to make, only one, as far as either bringing a player up, waiving a player to stay under the second tax apron. What would you do with that final move if no buyout magical player comes along?
I mean, at this point, you gotta keep Goodwin on the team. There's no reason why that guy should be playing as well as he is. This is another undrafted player who is playing at a level that you can see there's going to be progression, more progression. Give him more time. These are not easy games that he's performing in. A lot of these games that they played in are a couple baskets away from losing momentum, maybe losing a lead, and he's been one of those guys. I used the example of when he didn't make the right call on a pick and roll with LeBron. The next time he did the same thing, but this time he shot it and he made it. Those things say a lot about a player. They learn from their mistakes. He didn't get scared the second time. And then he had another play after that where he hit a 3-point shot that actually really, really did help keep the momentum on the side of the Lakers. You got to feed that, guys. You got to feed it. The Lakers seem to have some kind of voodoo doll with undrafted players, whether it's Alex Caruso, whether it's Austin Reaves. You don't want to lose this guy. You don't want to lose this guy right now. I don't know if he's going to get worse. We still have to let this develop, but I'd like to see what it can be, though. And it would be very nice to be able to get another diamond in the rough here, because that's what helps build the team this summer so that can be really, really set for next year. If they imagine if they have so imagine this, guys. Imagine if you have Goodwin now in place of Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent's going to have an expiring contract this summer of $11 million. That's a sweet spot number, by the way. It's a great number. No one is going to worry about trading for that contract. And even that player, Gabe, is a decent.
Kleber too. Kleber will have right around the same.
So between those two guys, you got $25 million that you can go get what you want. My fingers are being crossed that they can maybe get fortunate enough to talk to a team with a center that they really feel that Luka and LeBron want. I don't know who that's going to be yet. We'll find that out towards the end of the year.
Well, also, you want to throw in Rui, and you have to throw in Reaves as expiring contracts. So if the Lakers do not want to pay those guys money on an extension in 26, Joe,
did you say Reaves?
Reaves has an expiring contract.
No. You're not. No, you trade Rui. You don't trade Reaves.
I'm just telling you what contracts are available. I didn't say trade or not trade. I'm just telling you what contracts will be available, expiring contracts will be available for next season, Joe.
And Gerald, I was talking to our old friend Wes Morton, who runs Peach Hoops. That's the Hawks SB Nation channel. He says it's very unlikely the Hawks release Larry Nance, and that would, I think, be the
Well, he got
only
injured,
name.
Magic Man. He got injured. He's going to be out a month.
That's
from
what he
I heard.
said. Yeah, that's what he said. So it's unlikely he's going to be bought out. He would be the only candidate you would, if you were the Lakers, you'd take a long, hard look at. But he's out. So, and you don't know what you're getting when he comes back.
And Gary, I'm not advocating trading either one of those guys. I'm just saying if the Lakers decide to get cold feet because they would have to give Luka an extension, Magic Man and Joe, they might get cold feet on one or both of those guys because those guys, what you think, Joe, they would get a contract worth what, 150, 175 combined between those two?
Who are you talking about?
Rui and Austin Reaves.
Between Rui and AR combined, maybe 150?
Yes. If Rui keeps making 50% of his open threes, he's going to get paid, Joe. Somebody's going to pay him.
I'm just guessing. Could be.
I would say, Gerald. I would say Reaves makes well over 100 mil his next contract. I would say Rui is around anywhere from 50 to 75.
You really don't have to worry about Austin until next year. So unless they want to sign him after they get who they want this summer or extend him, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I feel very comfortable in saying this. I feel very comfortable that the Lakers will have $39 million that they can trade, which is Rui, Max Kleber, and Gabe Vincent. All three will be expiring contracts with no player option available like Austin Reaves will have after 2026. So you have $39 million plus you have your first round pick and you have some swaps and you have a second round pick and all that. Now, if you need to go get something really good, maybe two players, I don't know, you have that luxury to go find that this summer. That is a very good position to be in. That's why I'm not upset by not getting Mark Williams, because I think there's a better player out there than Mark Williams. I know Mark had a good game tonight. He's had a lot of good games, but why take a chance on kind of throwing away potential? I know.
He did let Moses Brown get 20 and 12 on him, and I'll just say that.
Whatever it is, again, I think it's if it's safe to play it, it's safe to play it safe at this point. They did that. I trust them to do that at this point. See, Johnny said it. Getting somebody like Jonathan Isaac would be better than Mark Williams in my book.
That's what I said months ago.
And you're gonna have that option. You're gonna have more options this summer to go to address that. And that's
a trade with Isaac and Goga Patadze would be great.
I love it too. That being said, there are a couple good guys, and I'm not talking to the panel, I'm talking to the chat. There are a few guys who fit a particular need when you have Luka. I love Naz Reid, but he is ground and pound. And I love Santi Aldama, but Aldama is more ground and pound as well and can shoot the three a little bit. Luka requires a center that has verticality and foot speed. That's what you need with a center with Luka. Verticality and foot speed. Somebody who can run the floor, somebody who can catch lobs, and somebody who's physical. It's a particular skill set. It's hard to find that person, but at the same time, it's also easy because you're able to condense your options and focus in on a few players here and there. Reed would be a great player ordinarily, but he's ground and pound. He can't get above the rim. That's not his game, and neither can Aldama. And neither of those guys are really going to help our offensive efficiency as opposed to a vertical threat that can run the floor like a deer.
And if DFS continues to play well, it was mentioned in the chat, he has a player option for next season. He may just opt out and become a free agent, guys. So that's another option, just to let everyone know as well. Clint Capella's looked old, 805.
He's old now. He's old.
But again, if he would be better than Alex Len. Alex Len has given us nothing, so that was pretty much not unexpected. But you have one more move to make. The Lakers have one more move to make. If you want to bring in Goodwin, you could just waive somebody like Morris or Reddish or somebody like that. But they have exactly one move only that they can make at this point in time, and that's it.
I would let go of Alex Len.
Okay.
I don't
Because because right now you're filled up with rosters, so you're gonna, if you want to make Goodwin available for the playoffs or Jameson for the playoffs, you have to waive somebody, a Reddish or a Len, somebody who's not getting any PT. So you're gonna have to decide who you want to go ahead and let go.
Yeah, Gary Taylor, I would try and bring back Jackson Hayes. He'd be the perfect backup center on this team if you have a center that's acceptable as a legitimate starter on this team, who's got the verticality, who's got the ability to run the floor. Once you get that center that Luka and LeBron want, Jackson Hayes is the perfect backup.
Nick T, Kleber's got to hit better than 32% from three when he comes back, because he is expected back right around late March, early April, I think, is from the last I heard. He's got to shoot better because he was terrible at the first part of the season. So he needs to shoot closer to 38 to 40 if he wants to stay out on the court for the Lakers. But he could be somebody that could be a 5 that could get some minutes at the 5 if he shoots well enough from 3, Joe. And by the way, Lloyd, again, enough of the Nick Claxton stuff. Enough of the. You guys don't actually watch the game. He is almost $30 million a year for a guy that makes only 52% from the line, and the guy has no beef below the waist. Jokic would just absolutely every time post him up, Sean.
It'd be a ham sandwich, Gerald.
Yeah, I know Stone is in love with him, but no, 52% from the free throw line. You guys like mixed. You want to go back to Shaq? You want to go back to Shaq because that's what you get. Remember, he's 0 for 10 in a playoff game. Not even Shaq did that. 0 for 10 in a playoff game.
Shaq Claxton is all right, like Gerald said.
Good rim protector.
Yeah.
Good lob.
You need a center who's on the cusp of possibly being an all-star.
Nick T with the Kelly Olynyk, man.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, I'm just going to say this. Nick T, listen to Hollow-Jern Duncan. They ripped on him for 5 minutes on the show that dropped yesterday. They ripped on him for 5 minutes. Listen to that context and complain to them before you complain to us on Kelly Olynyk.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Kelly Olynyk is a busted balloon defensively.
Yeah, still shoot the 3 at 44%.
Yeah. Offensively, he's great facing up, Gerald. But if you put him in the post with the ball, he is just a disaster waiting. He's worse than Vando. Let's just put it at that. Kelly Olynyk is worse than Vando in the post.
Yeah, I mean, again, and Nick Claxton again. Good rim protector, Magic Man. I'm not going to dissuade that. Lob threat, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But the guy is not going to give you the kind of beef down low. The teams.
He's a C plus, Gerald, and we really need a B plus center.
At $27 million a year, I think. At $27 million a year, I think that's what his contract is. That's that. I mean, you could get so much better value than Nick Claxton, and it's just
at $27 million. You damn right you could.
Yeah, let me make sure that that's correct because I think I've looked it up like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, he signed a $100 million contract, guys. He is at 20. I'm sorry, he is at 25. It's a declining contract. So next year this year he's at 27. Next year he's at 25. Then it goes 23, and then it goes to 20 and 27, 28.
And honestly, Gerald, it's so freaking hard reading what the Nets are doing either. I mean, for God's sakes, we all thought Cam Johnson was going to get traded, and he's still on the Nets because they couldn't get what? How many first-round picks did they want for Cam Johnson, Joe?
They wanted 2, I think.
They wanted 2. You wanted 2 first-round picks for Cam Johnson.
So you guys want a $27 million center right now that averages 10 points a game and 7.5 rebounds.
Not really.
I mean, for a team that already is struggling, Joe and Sean, with rebounding, I don't know if he helps move the needle in that direction too much. So.
I'm calling the second free agency starts. I'm calling Orlando. I want to know what they want for Isaac. And is Wendell Carter redundant with Isaac on the team?
So hard. It's so hard dealing with them because Mo Wagner is going to be out for the year with a knee injury.
Do you have to take on KCP's contract if they give you Isaac?
It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm not sure.
Think about
I'd
it.
take a chance.
I'm not sure. Because they're still looking to get rid of Cole Anthony too. You want to take him too?
As a backup guard that can score?
Well, based off what you were saying, Sean, about what kind of skill set you need at the center position, when you look at somebody like Jonathan Isaac, right? You're looking at someone who's a rim protector, someone who's got good feet that can move laterally, right? He's got a pretty smooth stroke. He's probably the perfect center for this Luka LeBron team. But I think what Orlando's going to want, if you look at Orlando's structure, they're paying KCP. He's got a player option for 2027. So basically, they got 2 more years of KCP. Do you have to take on that contract to get Isaac, and then Orlando can essentially get 3 expiring contracts and maybe go after a bigger player after next year? I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. Would they want to do that?
I'm looking, Joe, this weekend because Mitchell Robinson comes back, and the only reason
I don't like Mitchell Robinson. He's never healthy.
Hold on. Let me finish. That's part of my
point.
I'll
let me finish.
Please let me finish. Again, he is only $12 million, Joe, but it's the last year of his contract coming up next season. And if he's going to be healthy at any point in time, it's going to be next season. And he is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league when he does play on a per-minute basis. He does catch lobs, and he is a good rim protector. And I'll just leave it at that. Again, I understand he gets hurt, and he is like AD, a guy that you see often in street clothes. But if he's going to be healthy at any point in time in his career, it's going to be next season when he wants to get paid again. I'll just leave it at that. That he comes cheap at $12 million.
Next time, don't interrupt me when I'm talking.
Shut up, Joe. But go ahead.
So we've kind of veered off our discussion for 2025. Apparently now we're ready for 2026. But it's important to put this button on this because it's part of the overall assessment of today's Laker team. You have to be realistic now, folks. The Lakers made one of the, if not the greatest trade of the last 30 years, at the very least. And this is about 5 to 10 years now. And there's a small chance that the Lakers could get the correct team to play with Luka, with Austin, with LeBron James. And we're going to have to wait here about 4 months. 4 or 5 months. For me, I'm not looking past this year. I'm still fully invested in this year. But I'm not going to be an ostrich with my head in the ground if they don't win a championship this year, because it's not really very, the word realistic isn't the right word. You're not really understanding what's going on if you're thinking, oh, they got to win it this year. It would be nice, but it's just not. History says it's not in the cards. It's a very low percentage that they will. However, they are going to go into the offseason with assets, expiring contracts. They kept their first-round pick. They have swaps. They have second-round picks. They have all these things. And they're more likely to get the player that they want now instead of worrying about, will Mark work out? Will he not? Was it giving up too much? It doesn't matter at this point now. It's gone. Now we know for sure that they're going to have a better shot at getting what they want this summer. And we've given you some names because there's some possibility of these things happening based off of the news that we've heard. Who's our guy in Orlando, Gerald?
Jonathan Isaac.
Alfred Esmond. Alfred
Esmond. We need to get Alfred on here, and we need to discuss that because I think that'll clear up. We've had him on here since Luka's trade, right?
Last week. Yeah, I talked to him last week about that trade.
Okay, I wasn't on the show. Was I on the show? I wasn't on the show, right?
You were commenting on the show.
Okay, I was out. Okay,
Gerald, and just
your usual. Hold on, Magic. Your usual. What is this? And then being typical.
No, it's what the hell is this?
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, Magic.
What the hell is diversity?
I believe it's an old wooden ship from the post-Civil War era.
All right, moving on. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, Gerald, I was just going to say, I know his name has been bandied about the past year and a half. There is no way. There is zero chance. There is more of a chance of hell freezing over that the Detroit Pistons would trade Jalen Duren now. That team is blossoming. They're in a 6th spot in the East. There's no way they would trade Jalen Duren in the offseason. He is a staple for them with Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, for the team on the up, yeah, they're not going to trade him.
Yeah, there's not going to be a chance in hell. They're not going to let him get away from Cade Cunningham. But Gerald, I applaud our chat and applauded the panel for seeking out options that meet the certain criteria for a center for this kind of offense. And like Joe said, we're not going to duck turtle and run. If somehow they get to a second round or the Western Conference Finals and they get beat by a better team, it's all good. We come up strong. The Lakers always get their guy. I always believed that. Even the past few years when we were in the doldrums and I was listening to a lot of negativity, I still felt somehow, some way, the Lakers always get their man. And sure enough. So we're just going to have to ride the tide here, Gerald, ride the lightning, see what happens with Jackson Hayes. But we please do not play Gabe Vincent without a starting caliber center. As soon as Vincent came in and Jackson Hayes went out, Gerald, that 16-point lead the Lakers had went down to 6 with Vincent out there. I know JJ needs to find minutes for certain groups, but having Vincent out there without a center, having his back is not a good option because he gets beat on the regular now with a first step on a quick guard.
I agree. Yeah, it's a good point. Again, it is, of course, Magic Man Sean Grice, Joe Soro, and me, Joe Glassford. Again, really appreciate you listening. It is the Lakers taking the victory. You wouldn't know it, Joe, by the way that we've gone back and forth with some members of our chat tonight, but the Lakers did coincidentally win tonight, 111-102. I know that everybody is riding high on Golden State because they did win again in Orlando tonight. They've won 6 of 7, I believe, or 7 of 8 since Jimmy Butler has arrived. So they're riding high and they're actually moving up to 7th place in the Western Conference standings. If the Clippers lose tomorrow, they could be in a tie for 6th place with Golden State in the Western Conference. Are you concerned seeing Golden State now in the rearview mirror playing a lot better with Jimmy Butler and all that's going on there before we go ahead and finish up our Lakers conversations?
Sean, you want to answer this? I don't feel like answering this question. Go ahead. I'm going to go on mute.
Anything, Sean? I mean, because we got trolled the other night by a lot of trolls that are really infatuated with Golden State at this point in time. Not Legend is notwithstanding, because Legend is awesome and he's very respectful of our audience, and I know he's a Golden State Warriors fan, and they have played better, and I've got to give them credit for it. But your thoughts on the Golden State Warriors?
Well, I don't have two glass bottles in my hand, Gerald. But if I did, I'd go clap. Warriors, come out and play. Yeah. We're taking you down to 5 if we see you in the playoffs. If we're the 2nd seed and you're the 7th seed, we're taking you down to 5.
Okay.
I don't care if it's Chef Curry, KFC, Lakers at 5.
All right. But I will say, Joe, all right, again, the Lakers have got to worry about their own selves. Tomorrow, it is, of course, the Lakers and the Clippers.
The chat just got weird.
They just got weird. They've been weird the whole time, Magic Man.
It just got a little even weirder.
Okay.
What happened?
That's saying something. Do we really want to describe it?
No.
No, I don't think I will.
No.
What's weird is the meme I just read right now. I'm gonna have to share with you guys on our chat.
Yes, please don't share it on the air.
Yeah, do not share it right now.
I'd like to keep us on YouTube if possible. But Joe,
I thought we were going to get 1 strike for the peanut butter comment I made a few nights ago. So I'm very.
Oh man, I don't know what people do in their lives online.
You and I were talking about adult movie star, Magic Man, and that got us a strike.
Man.
I don't know how that that in itself. We didn't even say anything like really out of bounds. Just we were talking about a vintage movie, adult movie star, who was a guy that was commenting on our show in that persona, and just like that got us a strike. Then again, I sent myself a link about Google AI thing in my Facebook chat, and I got banned for 3 days on Facebook. So you figure that one out. So I don't know. I don't understand how.
I don't understand either, Trill. I just know that you're the captain. When you say stop, we stop now. So
sometimes I feel like the captain of the Titanic on this show. But okay, go ahead.
Seriously though, if we had said Dirk Diggler, if we had used the word named Dirk Diggler instead of John Holmes, would we have gotten a strike, YouTube? Because I think that's a fair question.
Let's not test that out one more time.
I think that's a fair question.
That is a fair question. But Joe, before we head on out, again, great performance from the defense. Your thoughts tomorrow, the Clippers. You said before last week when we talked about what was upcoming on the schedule that the Clippers, we were probably going to, even though they're both at home, and it's finally only the Lakers home, that you're going to split them. And I would probably say if they're going to split them, the split is probably going to be tomorrow with the loss, because I don't know who's actually going to play in the game tomorrow, because Luka's already calling himself questionable, and LeBron's saying, I'll see how I feel when I get up. And Ruiz, they have to evaluate his knee and all that. If the Lakers can continue this momentum, they probably need to win tomorrow and on Sunday as well.
Well, it's been interesting this year. When I've thought they're going to lose, they usually have won this year.
Yeah, that's true. And you said they've been good on back-to-backs.
I don't know if that's going to run out tomorrow, but maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they'll hit their shots. I don't know.
Yep.
I think.
But the defense, do you think they could carry the defense 2 straight games?
I mean, Clippers. You saw what the Lakers did to the Clippers the last time they played. Clippers didn't know what. Clippers looked like they didn't know how to play basketball the last time they played. And that was into it. They were into it, and they were really into it at the Intuit Center. Maybe it happens again. We have to wait and see. I can't really assess this team too much because it's such in development in what they're gonna be, what they are. I just don't know really how to assess the team really with a broad stroke. It's game by game. It's a cliche, but it's true. You just don't know. They've
Joe, I
been.
want to.
You look at the teams that they've beaten.
Mhm.
Okay, since so they got Luka February 1. That was after they beat New York. Then they whooped on the Clippers on the 4th. Then they beat Golden State at home. Then they beat Indiana. Then they beat Utah. Then they had a couple of duds before and right after the All-Star break. But then they whooped Portland and Portland. Whooped Denver and Denver. Those are the two freaking Bermuda Triangles for the Lakers in their history. And then Dallas and Minnesota kind of played shorthanded, and it was close games. I don't know how to gauge this team. I really don't. They might go in there tomorrow with maybe one LeBron or Luka missing, and they probably blow out the Clippers. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
I want to mention this to you. Dave McMenamin posted on his Twitter a new story that he has up on Jeanie Buss, reflecting on the Luka Doncic deal earlier today, stressing that the importance of both sides keeping trade talks quiet. I'm really proud that it didn't leak out. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was.
That's a shot at Jim. It's a shot at Jim.
Let's say it is. Let's say it is. Let's say it is. For our discussion,
Okay.
It's important to talk about why she needs to throw a shot at Jim on that. This validation, it's not just Jim Buss that suffers from validation. All this stuff about Andrew Bynum in the past was all about Jim Buss needing to have that validation that this was my guy, this is the guy I picked. When you start doing Jerry Jones things, you end up destroying everything around you in terms of winning. This was not about validation. This was about executing the job. And you cannot risk you can't risk winning championships with an elite player in his prime because you feel like you need to have validation for your stuff. That stuff is that's children's stuff. And Rob Pelinka and Jeanie showed when we thought they didn't have it in them. They showed as stealthy can be in terms of executing something in this world where how the hell do you keep things secret? Imagine if this was before the internet. Imagine if it was before smartphones and all the snitches everywhere. You probably wouldn't have thought much, right? Oh, well, we didn't know about it and it happened. But the fact that they did this in this kind of climate, it just adds more to the mystique of this trade. The second Luka wins a championship, that whole setup, that whole 3.5 weeks continues to go up. If he wins multiple championships, that will be a legacy that will start to even out with what her dad did for close to 40 years. That's a nice thing to know. That's a nice thing. It's a nice thing to see. I will admit that. It's nice to see that Jeanie Buss turned into Dr. Buss times whatever. And it's nice to see that Rob Pelinka maybe wasn't a sleazy car salesman. What can you say?
But still, this trade hasn't pleased everyone, as we saw earlier, as we were battling everyone earlier in this chat, earlier in the show.
No, their
Magic
preference is to have AD sit in the bench right now for the Lakers. Because if you think AD wouldn't have hurt his ab playing for the Lakers, then you haven't been watching any games this year.
It was already hurting, Joe.
It was already hurting, and he finally aggravated to the point where he ain't playing. So by you saying that you have a problem with Luka in that trade is saying that you'd rather have AD on the team sitting. That's stupid. You're either really seriously trolling or you're stupid. And at some point, are you going to really keep coming here to troll? Maybe you're just stupid. Sorry. No other way to look at it. This isn't a scale. It's one or the other.
Magic Man, any final thoughts? And then I'll bring it back to Joe on tomorrow night's game with the Clippers, which will be part of playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. But any insight on tomorrow? Because again, if they can steal a victory tomorrow and then somehow sweep the Clippers as far as those two games, that could really start us talking about where the Lakers can go from there starting next week. Again, it's not the easiest of schedules coming up, but if the Lakers can get it done with the walking wounded that they have, that will be something, and that will be certainly a feather in JJ Redick's cap, Sean.
Yes, it will, George. And to quote Jerry Springer, and now for my final thought.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wins when somebody puts their pettiness above the Lakers, Gerald. And it feels like there's a lot of pettiness out there that somehow, because the Lakers didn't acquire a top 5 player that they wanted, or they are so attached to AD that what Chris Cornell said, what you want to see makes you blind, is true. Attachment is a real thing. I try not to live in that unless it's anyone who's living in my 4 walls, and that includes the panel right now. But in saying that, to people, I think people are getting way too attached to certain players or certain perceptions of players, and rather than just marinate and dig what you're watching, you want to complain about it. Man, I've never heard anybody complain about a sunny day until I saw a bunch of Lakers fans complaining about the Lakers acquiring Luka Doncic. That was the first time in my life I ever heard somebody complain about sunny days and rainbows. But we move forward. We're 5-2. The train is off the track, and they're still trying to figure things out, and we're still winning, and that's all we care about. Because when we're winning, Gerald, the trolls are going to show up anyway.
Yeah, that they are. But we'll keep on winning. Again, Sean, for a long time, we received comments that, oh, you guys are being so negative. You guys are being too negative. I've had to answer for years on this channel. Finally, we're heading in a positive direction because the Lakers make a move that helps us in a positive direction, Magic Man. And it's like, you know what? You just can't please the audience because we're not going to please you. We're going to call it the way it is. We're going to call it the way we see it. And we've been more often right than wrong. And we have all the internet to back that up. 1,200 shows plus, almost 1,300 shows to back that up. So we'll leave it at that. But
I'm
Joe,
not looking for any validation from anyone, by the way. I don't care.
Mhm.
We're going to be wrong, but we're going to be right more than we are wrong. And there's no right answer if you don't think this trade was good. That includes if Luka does not win a championship. This was a 100%er. You do not say no to this. It's easy to sit there. I'll use an example that we talked about earlier today. We were talking about Mike Conley and the fact that he's been in the league since Greg Oden was picked first. That was his ex-teammate in Ohio State. Greg Oden was picked first. You look at it now, oh my God, how do you pass up Kevin Durant? Greg Oden had one of the best finals performances in a loss to Florida. You pick Greg Oden. You can't determine whether this guy's going to be injured 2 years into his career. You can't know that. That was the right call. He would have been, had he stayed healthy for a 10, 12-year career, he would have been Hall of Famer. He was that good. So you can't sit there and go, oh, my God, he's got to win a championship because we won a championship with AD. Who gives a shit if we won a championship with AD? That was 5 years ago. Might as well have been
20.
It might as well have been 1999 at this point. And I was tired of watching AD the last 2 playoff performances get worked. He got worked by Jokic and Denver. He got worked by Sabonis. When Embiid was healthy, got worked by Embiid. There was a, what was it, Sean? Wasn't he 0-7 against Sabonis until this year?
Yeah.
So what do you want me to, what exactly are you holding on to? You're holding on to 2020? You all know I've complimented AD in one of the greatest performances I've ever seen by a defender in 2020. He was robbed of the Defensive Player of the Year award that year.
And that's just what I love, Joe, about us, is that we're talking about today. Today.
I knew you were going there. As soon as you said today, I knew exactly where you were going. Yeah, exactly. We're talking about today and the fact that you got a player that's going to also give you a chance to compete.
Yeah, that's great. You have a great resume. You won a championship 5 years ago. Today,
you have what will likely be, barring injury, the best player in the NBA.
You have a top 5 player right now.
In a year, maybe 2. It's going to happen. If Luka does not have a catastrophic injury, Luka Doncic will be the number 1 player in the NBA. He is 25. He's turning 26.
Few hours.
Actually, he just turned 26 2 minutes ago.
Happy birthday, Luka.
Happy birthday, Luka.
Okay, 26, folks. A prime window for an NBA star is between 28. Prime squared is between 28 and 32. Luka hasn't even hit that. He just turned 26. If you can't see that, I don't know what you're looking at. I really don't. And not only that, you have a young coach who's shown a lot of skill set already in the NBA. We haven't talked about that. Another offseason for J.J. Redick to improve his skill set. You have a motivated LeBron James who's continued to keep putting himself in a position that's similar to a Tom Brady. Every time we thought Tom Brady was done, just kept having 4,000-yard passing seasons. Almost had a 5,000 passing season. I think it was last year. So I'm gonna go by what the recent history has said. Maybe not a long time ago, but recent. It looks like LeBron James is going to be here for sure, at least a year or 2 more. You have Luka who's going to come into his own. You have a young nucleus that's sort of around this team. You have a DFS. You have Austin Reaves. You have a good backup possibly in Jackson Hayes. And then you bring in a couple of starters this offseason with the summer, with training camp, and now you guys are talking legitimate title contender. There's going to be game 1. You're going to know the Lakers are going to play next season as a team that's going to go after a championship. The Lakers have not been that team for 2 seasons. And that's important to know.
That is important to know indeed. But the Lakers are back in 4th place, 36-21. Again, they are just, 2 games? Actually, they are a game and a half out of 2nd place in the Western Conference after their victory tonight, 111-102. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, game time, 7:30. I'm going to go ahead and get you going here. Actually, let me confirm that it's 7:30, not 7. It is at 7 o'clock. I'm sorry, 7 o'clock on ESPN, guys. Or playback.tv. Lakers Fast Break will bring you all the simulcast coverage right here. Nobody better to do it than us. Then, of course, the most divisive, but the best post game that's out there, according to our audience today. But it is still the best that's out there. There is no one better. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. So stay tuned here after the game. We'll share our thoughts and opinions as we always do. Harry said, "Don't forget my above tweet because you will say I was right." I don't even know what your above tweet was. We have 100 messages going a mile an hour, so I didn't see what it was. So I don't know what that is. But again, if it isn't here, it's there in the chat room. It'll be forever enshrined. YouTube, it takes about 6-7 hours to generate the chat, I think. But yes, it'll still be there, Harry. When you can go ahead and caress it, and that quote, you can just love it forever. Whatever it is you said, I don't know what it is, but okay. Oh, no, I don't know what this. Yeah, again, Harry, Luka was in the NBA Finals last year, 3 games away from a champion. Yeah, again, you guys just go ahead, have fun, knock yourselves out on going back and forth. Somebody that calls himself 2 first names. I don't know. Maybe they just forgot what it is the first time around and called himself again. But what are you going to do?
Or his
I don't know your tweet.
Or his parents had the last name Harry, and they decided we're just going to name him Harry.
Harry, yeah, there you go. But Joe,
I knew
Sean,
a guy named Neil O'Neill once.
Okay, well that's yeah, could be, or it could be tricky like this. Robert Roberto. But yeah, I don't know what tweet you're talking about, Harry, but I'm sure it's in the chat.
Joe Shabadoo.
Yeah. Joe, any last thoughts? I feel exhausted from just going back and forth, but another fine performance from you guys. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
I'm just going to focus on the games.
This must be nice, yeah. It's called copy and paste, Harry. If you're so confident in that tweet, just put it again in the chat so we all know what it is. There you go.
Tweet. I have a X or Twitter, what the hell they call it. I don't even look at my own, let alone somebody else's. What is it going to do? What are you going to win? What are you going to do? What are you going to win if you're right? A lottery ticket? One of those scratches?
It's late for Harry. He's not even making sense or using the English language properly on his way out. But you have a good night too, Harry. I'll wishing you all the best. Yes. SB, you know what? You, Xbox, JSJ, Yarmod, just tremendous. How you guys deal with them, as far as the losers that are out there that always constantly hate. I know how you guys deal with it because there's so many good people in our chat, and those people deserve the praise. Dealing with the haters the entire way and just trying to listen to what we have to say. But we truly appreciate it. And again, for everybody listening out there on our audio podcasts, we truly appreciate you guys as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
And just remember to all you hobbits out there, you're going to be upset tomorrow morning, but rest assured, we will be here night in and night out to laugh in your face.
Speaking of hobbits, it has been discussed that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is the only trilogy in the history of film that has an even score in each movie. Would you agree?
I agree. I mean,
I guess.
You know me, I love the Lord of the Rings. The original 3 movies were some of the best filmmaking that's out there. Peter Jackson, awesome. The prequels, you could take them, you could leave them. They still made $3 billion, so there you go. Can't fault that. But yeah, the Lord of the Rings movies, the extended versions, that's some good watching. But
Harry, calling people names does not stop the growth of the channel.
Yes.
If you don't believe me, go look at
the previous episodes.
Go look at the previous episodes, and also something that you might know. Go watch a few of Charles Barkley's shows on Inside the NBA when he calls people names. That show does pretty well as well.
There's a show we did where both AD and LeBron sat against the Houston Rockets. It's probably Joe's modus operandi brand.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, when did you get here? 2003?
Yeah.
2023?
My first show, I think, was August of 2021, but I didn't start the process like I am now, almost on a daily, until I think spring of 2022.
Okay, because we've been here since 2019, but so 20. Okay, so basically, you became the Joe that we all know. What 2022? You want to say? Right in that area?
I mean, I was here in 2021, but I became a regular in 2022.
when did you become Feisty Joe? When do you become the Joe that people know today?
He became Piquant Joe
Because there
around
was a process where you were just
around early
being
2023
On the show or in life?
on the show. When did I know you started pissing people off? I know I had to. I started getting emails on you like.
I think it might have been not too long after I started to become a regular because people thought I didn't like LeBron because of social issues.
Joe's a bully. Oh, gotta get the big bad bully off.
Yeah, and again, it's there's always been that he's a jerk and you call people names and all that, and I go, yeah, so
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care.
Joe's been growing the audience ever since.
I go,
we've been growing the audience ever since.
It just doesn't.
Bother him.
I've had this discussion a few times in my life. There's not anything positive or negative that's going to change my perception of who I am. I do what I do because it's what I feel is right at the moment. And maybe sometimes I'm a little harsh. I was harsh on Jeanie and Rob, and I was wrong. I was wrong.
And we had over 100 people in, near midnight our time, West Coast, and that says something right there.
The show is growing, and I'll understand this, folks. We don't spend a dime on any fake advertisements with fake subscribers. Fake is not the word on the show. What you're getting is the real stuff. The only time I fake anything is when I'm lying to a telemarketer. That's about it. that's as much as fake as I can get just to get them off the phone. And I only do that because sometimes the person on the phone I don't feel like deserves the full wrath. If I feel like you need the full wrath on the phone, I'll just say, listen, get me off your list and don't ever call me again. And that's the gist of that. We don't also do any clickbait garbage. Okay, we don't sit there and prance and have visuals like this.
Great question by 805.
Yes, the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Guillotine or electric chair?
You feel
You're
being
so morbid, 805.
You feel being electrocuted.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this before we head on out. Do you think 805 wants us all dead because he only sends us those questions? Whether
no, they're good questions.
By alligator or by elephant or be trampled to death.
Like, how did you get that job? How did you get that job back in the day?
Yes,
I want to chop people's heads off.
My gosh, yeah, that's some scary stuff, man.
You would have had a lot of resumes in for that one.
He sends us these questions. Always the morbid questions. Which do you want to rather die from? I think there's a message in there. Might be a message in there for 805. But you've been with us for a while, and are you still in the UK?
Maybe it's like maybe he wants a Final Destination thing where I'm in a bathroom and I slip on the water and the thing ties around my neck, Gerald. I'm trying to grab the scissors that are 15 feet away from me, but it looks like they're 2 feet away.
Yeah.
What's going to be funny is what I'm about to send you guys on the chat.
Okay, we'll take a look at it, but I'm going to shut it down for now. It is, of course,
Sean's going to bust up laughing on this one.
805. Are you still in the UK? Let me know, man, when you get a chance. But always appreciate
I might wake up the
no matter
neighborhood.
how morbid they are. But it is, of course, the Lakers winning tonight with the victory, 111-102. We'll be back. I'll still have these kids to deal with. But, of course, as the Lakers play the Clippers, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Aaron's Ohtani debut later today. His first spring game. Yeah.
My man, Aaron. And the Laker fandom. Oh, my God. I can't wait.
Enjoy it, Aaron. Enjoy it, man.
This is going to be a very fun baseball season. Luka coming to LA has created the buzz there. The two LA stalwarts are at full throttle, and it's going to be really fun the next 4 months. It really will be. I can't wait.
Aaron, you don't see what these two guys send us throughout the day and to each other in the chat. You would I'll just leave it at that. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Big shout out again to our mods. Big shout out again to our audience, the ones who hate us, the ones who love us, and the ones who listen to us. Thank you, everyone, for doing so. I'm not even going to look at it right now. Rest in peace.
Oh, give me off camera. Give me off camera.
I'm going to get you off the air. Okay. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. One of the greats. Truly unfortunate to see, and hear what happened in regard to the circumstance. But rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Joe, any thoughts on Popeye before we head on out? By the way, everyone, catch Severance. Latest episode is killer. Just saw it.
Gene Hackman is part of my life in so many ways. Popeye Doyle, Hoosiers. By the way, Popeye Doyle's from the French Connection.
Yes.
Lex Luthor. I mean, one of my favorite lines in Superman 2 is, oh, thank God it's Superman. I mean, get him! I'm really getting tired of seeing legends like this check out in weird setups like this. It's really bothering me. I don't like James Gandolfini dying in a hotel room with his son discovering him. I don't want to see Robin Williams hanging himself because he can't handle the fact that he just got diagnosed with something. This is stupid. These men should not be dying like this. And that's the frustrating part. He lived this long to what? To allegedly die because of some faulty something in the house? At least that's
carbon monoxide poisoning.
Really? That's how it ends? It's just frustrating. It's frustrating that this, and I know I never met Robin Williams or James Gandolfini or Gene Hackman, but much like Kobe Bryant in our lives, and we didn't meet him either. These guys were in our lives in so many ways. They were on our TVs, and we lived through these guys, through their performances. There's always the question, well, I don't care what Hollywood actors think. There's a lot of merit to that, but it has nothing to do with what they think when they're creating. You admire the art, you admire the performance, much like the athlete that you watch. You marvel at Jokic doing what he does, LeBron, Kobe, whatever, right? You're admiring a skill set that very few people have. That's the point. That's why you admire them. I'm not a believer in worshiping anyone other than your religion. And for someone like Gene Hackman, and there was just a weird coincidence that I saw this before he passed away. Kevin Costner was being interviewed. I think it was that dimwit Howard Stern, and he had a story about when they were doing, what movie was it? I forgot what movie they did together. Damn it! But anyways, Gene Hackman kind of brought Costner to him. He got his attention. He said, "Hey," and Kevin was saying he thought he was going to give him kind of the riot act for something. He goes, whatever you did over there, I want to tell you that you did a good job. And Gene Hackman was an icon at that point. Kevin Costner was just coming into his own. And those are stories I've always heard about Gene Hackman. He was always that guy. Morgan Freeman described when they were doing the scene in Unforgiven when he was in the jail and talking to him like in his ear. Morgan said, I couldn't tell if he was acting. Like he was so in it. He was so in it. And my one, this is going to sound weird, all these great movies that Gene Hackman did. My favorite Gene Hackman movie is actually Enemy of the State. And it's by far the best performance Will Smith has ever had, in my view, in any movie. That movie was a perfect action Hollywood film with great performances. And it's always been like that. It doesn't matter if it was Will Smith, if it was Keanu Reeves, if it was Morgan Freeman, if it was Clint Eastwood, if it was Sharon Stone, if it was Leonardo DiCaprio. It just seemed like Gene Hackman was the guy that could perform with anyone, against anyone, with anyone. And the only downside of this is I feel like there wasn't enough dignity in his exit. If it was a carbon monoxide poisoning, it's like, really? I've had that in my house for 7 years. How does not everyone have that? Matter of fact, I had a vehicle in my driveway and I just happened to have the door open for some weird reason. In that moment, there was a car that was in my driveway. It was backed in. So all the carbon monoxide coming out of the vehicle started permeating through the house from the front door. And I remember I was somewhat in the backyard patio. All of a sudden I heard a I'm like, the fuck is that? I'd never heard that sound before. Usually it's an alarm. Usually it's a smoke detector. Like, I know all those sounds. I go, I don't know what the hell that sound is. I went back in. What the fuck is going on? I have it hidden behind a table. I didn't dawn on me at first. I'm like, what is that sound? Is it coming from the doorbell? And then finally I moved the table and I heard it coming from, I'm like, oh, it's the carbon monoxide alarm. And I'm some schlep with a track home. I don't have the resources he does. And it just aggravates the hell out of me that if indeed it was that, I don't know. It just sucks. But God rest in peace. Phenomenal. We'll miss him, and we've missed him because he's been retired for a very long time.
Gerald,
sure.
One of my favorite comedies of all time is The Royal Tenenbaums, and
yes,
he's got some of the best lines in that movie. Can't someone be a piece of shit and try to repair the damage at the end of their life?
You know what's great about that movie is the outtakes.
And then my personal favorite, he's eating a burger at a cemetery. Hell of a grave. Wish it was mine.
But yes, the career of Gene Hackman, one of the greats. Rest in peace, him and his wife. Again, you've heard all by now the unfortunate circumstances. Rest in peace to them, their dog. And again, we don't know how that happens, but again, check out the news reports for what the real story was. But yes, appreciating Gene Hackman on his fine career at the age of 95, passing away. But right now, it is the Lakers 111-102. We'll be back tomorrow for more fun and hijinks, and I'm sure more battles if Luka plays against our Luka-hating audience. Some sections, not everybody. Of course, most people are okay with it, but there's some, the vocal minority. And you know what they say about the vocal minority, but we'll leave it at that. But again, it is, of course, the Lakers winning.
No, I don't know what they say.
You do know what they say.
You do know what they say. But anyways, 111-102. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate you being here, stopping by, watching us, and hopefully be back here in less than 24 hours to go ahead and watch it again right here, the Lakers Fast Break podcast.
Sean, did you like the granny knitting blanket thingy?
That's fucked up, Joe. That's fucked up.